All right, there's a couple of things we need to get off our chest before we get started. First of all, where the hell is Jim? Jim is at like the Ritz-Carlton San Diego.
Where is Jim?
I'm drinking. I need to drink tonight, Jim. I'm watching this thing and I'm like, I can't. I have to drink. And I don't typically drink, man. But I got a full mango cart. If you're drinking, let us know what you're drinking. Okay, first of all, let's start with this. Padres lose 5-3.
Thanks, Ben. I'm
here.
Here.
Ben showed up. And Jim as well. So, Jim, first of all, before we get into this, and there's so much to get into, and I'm going to freak out about the way this team played tonight. Where are you? And who's barking?
I am at Date Girl's house. Yeah.
Jim is at Date Girl's house. That's dedication.
This is dedication. Yeah. I was like, you know what? I got to go do a wrap-up show right now. So that's what happened.
Well, I give you credit for that.
Yes. I'm not soft, as everyone's saying in the chat right now.
Well, first of all, we thank Ben Fadden for filling it admirably last night. Now, I believe Jim is going to go solo or even potentially with Ben tomorrow night because I got to pick up my mom from the airport. We'll see if it's a date night for Jim. Okay, let's get into this. As you make your way into the chat, like we always say, please subscribe. If you're a Padres fan, that's all we ask. Please subscribe. Smash the like button for us. Follow us on Twitter at John Schaefer, at Jim Russell SD. If you want to make sure we see your comment, there will be a million tonight. Please, you can use that super function by hitting the $ down below. It is a great way to support this channel. Make sure we see your comment and interact with it as well. We have a brand new membership as well. You can click join next to the subscribe button, become a member, get custom emojis, badges, members-only content as well. Over the course of 162, Jim, we say this every single night. There will be bad losses. There will be bad games. The way this unraveled, and I know you were in and out, but we caught up and you've seen all of it and you've watched back what transpired here tonight. This was as sloppy of a loss as you can have, and there is no close second. I do give Bob Melvin credit postgame for saying the responsibility is on me. You never heard it once from Jace Tingler, and it's not Bob Melvin's responsibility. He's taking the sword for his team's lack of play or good play here tonight. But this is some inexcusable AA and A ball stuff that happened here tonight. And this is the big leagues, and they don't win in Denver regardless. And they took themselves out of the game with their play.
Well, that's the thing. Like, they've gotten so sloppy over the last, month and a half?
Yep.
Like, really sloppy. And they started out the year on like a 25-game errorless streak. Remember that? Everyone's like, oh, my God, this team isn't recorded an error in how many games? Mm-hmm. So the sloppiness of the team, you're absolutely right. It's unacceptable. And it's good that Bob Melvin is like, that's on me. Like, you wouldn't hear past managers probably taking that accountability. But the sloppiness, 100%, you're right, is costing this team baseball games. Like, not just, we couldn't score a run here because we were sloppy, or we gave up a run here. Like, no. What you're doing as a team is costing you potential wins. And with the way you're playing baseball right now, you can't do that.
You can't do it. And I just pulled up that Rich McGuire comment. We're going to get to all these supers. But here's the thing. I mean, there was no chance in the free world's history that runner Ruiz was sent to third with 2 outs and the potential go-ahead or winning run at the plate in Ha-Seong Kim. That's obviously a straight steal. He obviously has a green light. He no longer will, by the way, have unlimited green light. I mean, here's the thing. You can have an unlimited green light. You still have to use common sense.
Do we know? Do we know if that was a Ruiz thing?
Yeah.
Or was
Melvin said it wasn't. I mean, there's Jim. I mean, Melvin said, I just saw Rich McGuire said Melvin said that he didn't send him. So the runner went on his own. But there's no scenario where any coach in baseball would ever send a runner in that spot. What's third base worth to Estuary Ruiz trailing by 2 runs? The guy can fly. If there's a base hit, you're going to score. And if it's an infield hit, who cares? The bases are loaded. You score that run, you're still trailing 5-4. It was a terrible decision. He had a very good night, by the way. He had 2 hits in his big league debut.
Great night. RBI.
Yeah. The story, though, is that. I mean, it's like, that is nonsensical. And by the way, that's a bad look. I hate to say, I'm not even going to say what I'm going to say. I'm going to say it. That's a bad look for player development. When you have a guy that's been in the minor leagues for the better part of the last 5 years, you got to know circumstance. And that's just to run out of an inning there is completely egregious and inexcusable. Let's get to these supers. As Jim is hanging out from Date Girl's house Okay, she wants to be known as Day Girl, Kristen, I'm being told. Yeah. All right, so Jared, thank you for the super. Thank you, guys.
For the time being, yes.
For the time being, yeah. For the time being. Kristen just said, oh, my God. Jared, thank you for the super. Thank you guys for the supers. Great way to support this channel. We'll get to all of the supers tonight. He says, are we finally going to say that Grisham has lost any rights to start at this point? He brings nothing to the table. Jim, we talked about it beforehand. He didn't start this game. He came on as defensive replacement and dropped a ball that cost them a run. It just feels like, and I saw someone tweet this at me, and I agree with it. It's like he's mentally lost. Just not the same player he was 2 years ago.
Something's up. I don't know what it is. And the last, 162 games, he is a 200 hitter. And his defense has regressed so much since 2020. Like, it's night and day. Guy won a Gold Glove in 2020. And now he's dropping baseballs in the outfield. Like,
crazy.
What are we doing here? And I do think a big part of Ruiz coming up is because of the play of Grisham, right? It has to be. If Grisham was actually performing or doing anything,
I agree.
We probably wouldn't see Ruiz. And this was a situation where they needed something better than Grisham, what he was giving his team. And, they had to try Ruiz. And I thought Ruiz had a good night, but you're right. The steal kind of just takes over everything. He doesn't matter. Like, the one thing he's going to think about tonight is not his first big league hit. Exactly. It's going to be that caught stealing at third, making the last out, which is like, you never are supposed to do that, especially in late inning situations where runs are so premium. Even though it's Coors Field, things can happen in like 2 seconds there. You can score 7 runs in a half inning, and it's like, oh, okay, because it's Coors Field. But still, the way this team is, where they can't score runs, and you even saw in the beginning of the game, runners at first and third with 1 out, and they don't score.
Yep, great point.
Hey, can we get a hit with runners in scoring position, please? One time, anybody? Please.
It's a good point. Even in the second inning, they had I think it was a Ha-Seong Kim double to take a 1-0 lead, but then second and third 2 outs for Jake Cronenworth. He grounded out. I want to say they had leadoff runners on in 6 of 9 innings, Jim. 6 of 9 innings, leadoff runners at Coors, and they scored just 3 runs in this game. So, Jared, thank you for the super. I want to get to this. I believe this is this a sticker, 20-piece McNugget? If you meant to put a comment in,
20-piece McNugget.
Please comment down below. We'll get your comment. You don't have to use another super, but thank you for your support of this channel. 20-piece McNugget, which sounds pretty good right now with my beer.
That's a great name.
Let's see. 20-piece McNugget has commented a few times since he sent that super.
So maybe ask a question?
Yeah, 20-piece. Comment again down below, and we'll get to it when we see it here down below. I want to get back to Jared. Thank you, Jared. I think Jim has done that.
Yeah.
We've blocked or banned or put in timeout. Oceanside Boy 760. I don't know what he was saying, but sorry, chat.
It was just he was just spamming the chat.
Okay, let me get to this from Anthony. Thank you guys again for hanging out with us as you make your way in. Please subscribe. That's all we ask of Padres fans. Please smash that like button for us as well. There's a lot to get into tonight. Jim, you don't have to stick around, by the way, for the entirety. But we appreciate you hanging out here tonight.
Bro, this is dedication.
It is.
Everyone's saying I'm soft, and this is not soft.
It's all good. We can always call on in Ben.
Yeah, perfect. Hey Ben, hop on in.
Hey Ben, what are you doing tomorrow from 3 to 6? I'm kidding. Anthony Steiner with the super. Anthony, thank you for your membership and for the super chat and for your support of the channel. He says if Ruiz would have pulled his like Manny swim. Okay, I gotcha. Let him run. Okay, you're saying if he would have had a better slide, Anthony. And listen, I understand it. I understand the sentiment. The guy can flat out fly. He has game-changing speed. No question. No question he will impact Padres games in a positive manner. And there's going to be times you're pleased with him having the green light. There's no question. There's no question. In this circumstance, I do not care if he was safe or out. You cannot run there. In fact, when he was ruled safe, I tweeted out, what the hell is he doing? Because you can't jeopardize an inning like that. And it's not just an adage. Right. Like you said, it's not just first or third out. You're trailing by 2. You have the go-ahead run at the plate. Ruiz means nothing, theoretically. I mean, I know you have a 9th inning, but Ruiz can score all he wants. You're still trailing 5-4. It's better to be safe in that spot 100 out of 100 times, and ultimately, it's just a mistake to run there. They will let him run. He clearly had the green light. That's why he ran. But that was just a bad time to run.
It's not the moment to pick Like, you got to pick your spots. And when you're late in the game, 8th inning, down by 2, 2 outs, there is no upside to you trying to steal third because you're down by 2. So you're right. That run, I mean, it means something, but not as much as the runner on first to tie the game,
not as much as the out. What's more important, the out or the run when you trail by 2? The out. You got to keep that out available.
Right. And dude, if there's a bloop hit, you're going to score because you're fast.
If there's a line drive, he's going to score, right?
Yeah.
With 2 outs?
To get in that position, it made no sense for him to steal that or try to steal that bag. Like, none whatsoever. Because if there was less than 2 outs, then you could see why trying to get a sac fly. But even then, you're still down by a run. Like, what are you doing? So, yeah, I don't understand that. I think the Voit thing was more egregious.
It's just as ridiculous. I mean, he knew he was wrong.
Right.
He was just like, "What am I doing?"
Like, did you hear Mud? As soon as he got called out, he sighed, like, "Oh,
yeah,"
because he knew, like, what are you doing?
What are you
fly
doing?
ball to left, and you try to take third? Like, what?
Who are you, Jorge Alfaro? You know, you're not Jorge Alfaro.
Whoever are you, Fernando? You're not Fernando Tatis Jr.
Dude, you know what? Maybe Ruiz can run there because of his speed. I still wouldn't love it. I'm not in love with it because third base is inconsequential. The outs are more important than the bases.
The only person that can do things on the base path that make 0 sense but end up working is Fernando Tatis.
Basically, yeah.
He's the only person that can do that stuff. And guess what? He's not playing right now, so no one should try it.
I see some people saying in the chat, you look fresh tonight. Got a nice. What color T-shirt is that, by the way? Is that kind of like a tan?
It's a gray T-shirt, John.
You're looking nice, man.
Oh, appreciate that.
Alex, thank you for the super. We're going to tell you about Mark Nimitz at Farmers Insurance coming up in a moment. Our title sponsor. Alex says this team is never balanced. It's either this team is offense and no pitching, or no pitching and offense. It's never balanced. Just in general, or you're saying this year, it kind of feels like that a little bit this year. They've had some offensive moments. I mean, the pitching's carried the way this year, right? They've been let down by their offense this year.
It's 100% the offense, and bullpen is a close second, but the offense, far and away, is the biggest problem with this team.
No doubt. I just want to get to this, and thank you guys for hanging out. Thank you for just the chats and the support and the subscriptions and the memberships and the supers. So Phil says it was supposed to be a double steal. Grisham was halfway to second. Ruiz wasn't running by himself. I think Grisham was running because once Ruiz ran and the throw went to third, he's got a free second base if he wants it. And if he didn't take it, that's kind of on him. But this was not a double steal. This was Ruiz running. I mean, Bob Melvin said it was not a double steal. There's no way, Bob. There's just no way. It doesn't make sense. Now, would you prefer to have second and third there, trailing by 2? Of course you would, but you can't risk the final out of the inning to do that. You just can't. You can't do it.
Yeah, it's inexcusable, and damn well the second he got into that dugout, he got shootout 100%.
Even before the replay was official, he had run into the dugout because he was looking on the video board and he knew he was out.
Yep.
And
he's like, "Oh shit!"
That is a lonely, lonely feeling. And again, I'm not saying Ruiz isn't the reason why they lost. Voit isn't the reason why they lost. Even Grisham's playing center isn't the reason why they lost. Add them all up, you're not winning though.
But when you give outs away, right, in the dumbest ways possible, those will come back to bite you in the ass. More times than not, like, you're going to be like, we just gave away what's his name? Like, that's inexcusable. And you're right, the sloppiness goes on the coaching staff, it goes on Bob Melvin, and it goes on the players for being stupid. Like, the stuff they did tonight was flat out stupidity. You can't argue, you can't try to reason with me, and you can't try to tell me why you did it and how it made sense to you.
100%, Jim. You're 100% right. I want to pull up. It was a good. I didn't realize this one. Is this confirmed? Was Kim 3-1? Okay, so think about that. Kim's in the batter's box. Inning ends. Then he's facing Daniel Barr in the ninth, trailing by 2. So are you telling me that the pitch that was taken that then was thrown down to third for the final out would have had the count 3 balls and 1 strike on Kim? That makes it even more egregious. It wasn't 0-2 on Kim.
Good night too.
He had 2 doubles in his first 2 at-bats and nearly homered in the first inning. It was a really bad circumstance and a really bad inning for the Padres. Let's get to Mark Nimitz, and then we'll get to some of these supers, and we'll get to all of your comments here tonight as the Padres lose to the Rockies in Denver. They've lost 11 of 12 in Denver, including tonight 5-3. Mark Nimitz is our title sponsor. If you have auto, home, renter's life, or earthquake insurance needs, he can save you $750 on your insurance. $750 just by switching. Also, if you have an electric vehicle by chance, he can help save you even more money as well. I have my homeowners and my earthquake through Mark. We just recently had a claim here in my home. He saved me thousands of dollars. He made the process simple and easy. I have Mark to thank for that. He's a huge Padres fan. I can only imagine what's going through his mind right now. He's on vacation in Hawaii. I'm sure he's with his family. And he's looking at this box score, and he's looking at Twitter, and he's like, what on earth happened tonight? But he's a huge Padres fan. He's a San Diegan. There's a link down below for Mark's website. You can get a quote online. You can get all of his contact information. But a San Diegan that's a Padres fan that supports this channel. If you have insurance needs and you support this channel and you want to support a local business, please get in contact with our buddy Mark Nimitz.
Yeah, all Mark's information is always above my head. mnimitz at farmersagent.com. When you reach out to him, let him know that John and Jim from the Wrap-Up Show sent you.
All right, so thank you again to Mark. I know some supers have rolled in here, so let me get to those, beginning with this one. Our member, Jared, thank you for your membership and the super.
Thank you, Jared.
So Jared says, Grisham, Voit, Hosmer, days numbered, I hope. I don't know what Grisham's really doing here. I feel bad saying that. I almost feel bad for him, Jim. I'm not kidding. When I watch the way he's playing right now, Voit, that's going to take some type of upgrade, from AJ Preller, but he just acquired him. And then Hosmer, it's like, what'd you say today? He's the immovable object.
He is. Eric Hosmer is the immovable object on this team. You can't trade him. You can't play him. There's nothing to it. Like, think about this. Albert freaking Fat Pujols has as many home runs as Eric Hosmer does this year.
That's incredible. Crazy. How about this? I got another stat for you that's going to blow your freaking mind. Okay,
I'm ready.
More than it's ever been blown.
Really?
That's not what she said.
She did not say that.
I want to say this is right. Someone fact check me on this. Jorge Mateo. Yep, I'm going there. Has more home runs than Eric Hosmer. And leads baseball in steals, I think.
What?
Is that accurate? I said it. I feel like I flipped through that. Can you look that up?
Yeah.
Just type in Jorge Mateo. I mean, they've won 9 straight.
I know.
Hottest team in
2
baseball.
games out of a wild card.
Amazing. Is that right?
Jorge Mateo has 7 home runs.
Well, that's more than. I mean, I can't even start with Hosmer right now because there's so many other places to go.
Should I leave? Because Hector's ready to just. He thinks I'm an idiot.
Here's the deal. Hector, if you do it, Jim's out, and you can enjoy your night.
Yeah.
If you don't do it, Jim's here, and it's a win-win for the viewers. We either get the super from Hector, or we get Jim for the next 40 minutes,
or 20.
Or 20. Yeah, Jim doesn't have to be here for the full hour. Where are we, by the way? Where are we? Because I have a ton of notes actually written down about this game. This is a Rockies team. So you get beat by Charlie Blackmon, who's killed the Padres for his entire career. Okay.
Shocker, right? Yeah.
Okay. You don't want to face him, but there's 2 on. Okay. You hate to get beat by Blackmon. I absolutely hate it. I keep saying, okay. This is a Rockies team that's not playing CJ Cron. It doesn't have Chris Bryant. And Charlie Blackmon is the one to do you in.
I told you, I would have taken just 1 win in the next 3 games. Split, get out. With how they play in Colorado, are you kidding me?
Mm-hmm.
You know how long it took them 10 freaking games to get at least 1 win? And that was yesterday. And it actually got way closer than it should have been. And then today was a disaster. So you tell me you get a split in Colorado with the way they play there? Yeah, I'm taking that.
Well, yeah, you're 100% right now. I mean, after they lose today, if you get one of the next 2, right. What's that?
Said I know I'm right.
Yeah, no, you're right. I mean, you because they don't play well there. They just don't play well there. But to get beat by Blackmon when he's really the only serious threat in that lineup, and I know it's Denver and things get weird, and there's other guys that can homer there. We all know that. Anyone can homer in Denver. But it just sucks when they're not playing their best players like Chris Bryant and CJ Crone. And, Charlie Blackmon's been okay, but he actually hasn't been great, Jim. He's got an under 800 OPS, and he plays in Denver. So he's been okay. It's like 790. He's been okay, but he has not been typical Charlie Blackmon.
Doesn't matter how bad or good he has been. He will always rake against the Padres. It's a given. Anytime Charlie Blackmon plays this team, he will do something.
No doubt.
That's why when Will Myers goes to the Rockies next year, just expect Will Myers to go off against the Padres.
A couple of other things. Nick Martinez leaves this game, got hit by that comebacker. It wasn't the hardest hit ball. It was a hard hit. Don't get me wrong. I mean, we've seen a lot worse.
I mean, that hurt.
It definitely hurt. I'd be surprised if he pitches again before the All-Star break, and maybe they use these 5 days plus the All-Star break to say just stay off it, get healthy, and we'll see after the All-Star break. So hopefully it's not more significant than that, because all of a sudden, Jim, guys going on 60-day ILs, Martinez getting hit, inning limits coming up with people like pitchers like Gore potentially. Like all of a sudden, if you're AJ Preller and you see Nick Martinez unavailable, if you see Mackenzie Gore ineffective, I mean, you're thinking about, do I have enough in my rotation for the second half of the year? Because certainly I'm going to need my rotation as much as any other piece in this team. Like I can't rely on my offense, can't rely on my bullpen.
You are limping your way into the All-Star break.
Literally now.
Yeah, literally and figuratively. And you are still weeks, potentially a month away from Tatis. And your pitching staff is crumbling around you. Your bullpen is a up and down roller coaster all the time. I mean, treading water right now, I would take it. Like if you're 5 games up at the end of the month, you're like, man, I guess that's kind of a win. Just because this thing could fall off a cliff, John.
Yes and no, but you have 4 days off this month for the All-Star break. It's already July 12th. I mean, how many games do they have left this month? 15?
You go to New York, Detroit, and then you play Minnesota. I believe that's right.
All right. That's not exactly the craziest thing I've ever heard. I mean, Detroit has been good. The Mets have been great.
I'm just looking at like the whole totality of the rest of the year. You still play the Dodgers how many more times? How many times you play? How many
12?
more times? How many more times you play the Rockies in Colorado? I know you
go
there.
They're 3-6 against the Rockies, so maybe 9 more.
I know you go to Colorado like at least for one road trip.
It's one more. Yeah, one more.
The Giants, you've done well against the Giants, but still, you can't do shit against the division. Dude, so there was so many question marks for this team to definitively say right now, yeah, they're a playoff team. I don't know how you could say that.
No, you can't say that. I mean, it would not be good if they were only 5 games over 500 at the end of this month.
They're in a fight, dude. Like they are in a fight now. When they had an opportunity to really put themselves in a position where you are 1,000% going all in at the trade deadline. You have weathered the storm without Tatis, and you've put yourself in the mix to definitely possibly contend for the division. That's like vision gone. The cushion you had gone. The comfortability that you had gone. Like you are in a fight now with no real like timetable for Tatis, with a bullpen that's just beating the hell up right now, with sloppy play. Just all of it's compounding to this is the problem.
It is. They should still be better than 5 games over 500 at the end of the month. And by the way, that doesn't guarantee them anything. They could be 10 games over 500 at the end of the month. They were last year, and that didn't guarantee them anything. And they're 50-39 right now. They're 3.5 games better than the Phillies, which means they're 3.5 games clear of a playoff spot right now. But we all know that's nothing, and that can be given up in a week if the Phillies play well and the Padres don't play well. Let's get to the super from Jake. Jake, thank you. Thank you for your support from Phoenix. Jake says, so sick of this team underperforming. Leadoff double in the first, don't score. Multiple more chances to score until starting pitching falters, then lineup gives up and basically goes down in order the rest of the way. Gross. This was gross. It was, you're right. I mean, when you have a leadoff double in Denver and you can't score, and you have Voit and Alfaro back-to-back, and it's strikeout, This is happening way too often with the offense. You get a man on to lead off an inning, you don't get him over, and you don't get him in. It's just happening way too often.
Dude, they left 22 men on base through the first 7 innings. Are you kidding me?
No. That's the LOB through the hitters. That's not actually their left on base. Hold on. They left on 9.
Okay, well.
Yeah, you're looking at the left on base by hitter. They left on 9 as a team.
What were they with runners in scoring position?
They were not good. 3 for 10. They were fine.
Fine.
Mm-hmm.
But in Colorado, that's not great.
No, it's not.
Especially in the first inning when you have like double. What is it? No, you go single.
No, it was double.
Double, single, or no, double walk. I don't know what it was. What, dude? Whatever. No,
here's the deal.
Right.
It was the Cronenworth. But it's less about hitting with men in scoring position and not situationally hitting with men in scoring position. Just get the guy in, ground out, score a run. Sack fly, score a run.
They suck. They suck at doing
Voit absolutely sucks at it. I mean, he's swinging out of his ass at breaking pitches all over the place. I mean, it's tough to watch Luke Voit.
It is. No one. Do you think the Yankees are like, man, we made a bad choice when we traded Luke Voit when they traded him, or they were probably like, whatever.
It just has no value. I mean, he doesn't have value for a good team because good teams have players that can DH that are better than Luke Voit.
Right.
He's such an all or nothing. I mean, the way he has nothing situational about him. Like, put the ball in play, man. That's once in a while.
I was like, dude, if this guy can get barrel on the ball, it would go 500 feet, and we've seen it. But when he misses, it's not even close.
It's not even close. You mentioned
like hit the ball to the right side or something. I don't know.
Yeah, something. You mentioned the Tatis situation. I mean, the update is there isn't much of one. We joked today on the radio because Kevin Acee had a quick update. He did mention the fact that if all goes well, Tatis could be back in July, not August. I don't know how that's possible because he's not yet swinging a bat, or at least we're not led to believe he's swinging a bat. But Acee did say he'd begin to swing against air when he's cleared.
So, awesome.
Whatever that means, we might be getting closer to Fernando Tatis Jr. swinging against air.
Real quick before we get to that, Martinez is day-to-day with a minor ankle sprain.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Oh, it's a sprain?
That's what Bob Melvin said.
Okay.
But, I can't wait to watch Fernando Tatis swing against air. Do you think the air will strike out Tatis? Or do you think Tatis is going to rake?
I mean, air, as I tweeted earlier, has struggled against right-handed hitting. So that's where I feel like Tatis could get off to a good start. Yeah. And is he going to be swinging against air in Colorado? So that's like light air?
No, isn't it like thick air?
Thin air.
Oh, thin air. Excuse me.
I think it's thin.
It's probably thin air. Like the thinner the air, the better. And it's like the marine layer air is going to be tough to swing in.
Could be.
Yeah.
They need him back.
Marine layer is undefeated.
They just need him back in the worst way because I don't even know what he's going to do.
You don't know when he's coming back, dude.
I know, but they need him back in the worst way.
Oh, you think?
Yeah, I know. Because
no shit.
Offensively, what was it in their last 18 games? They scored 3 runs tonight. They're scoring less than 3 runs per game in their last 18, hitting like 215 as a team.
Is that
look
good?
at that? That's not great.
Air would shut down the Padres.
It has the last couple of days, or today it did.
Oh, that's cool. Kevin went to the game.
Very cool, Kevin. Thanks for hanging out with us.
Air is on
Aura.
You are correct about that.
Oh my God!
Ruiz looked good, except everything's kind of.
Other than that, Mrs. Lincoln, how's the play? Yeah. It's like he looked good until he ran them out of an inning in the 8th inning, and this is not AAA anymore. You can't steal 60 bases in the big leagues. It's not happening. It's just not. And there's a better time to pick up your first big league steal than with 2 outs in the 8th inning, trailing by 2 runs with the winning run at the plate. Yeah,
probably not the best idea to do that.
Maybe not the best time. I see Jaime has been asking about this. There's 2 on in that spot. I mean, it is baseball. You can't just always put him on or always work around. Clevenger had been good until that point, or at least pretty good. I mean, it was a 1-1 game in the 6th inning. But it hurt. There's no question. 3-run home runs. Padres don't hit a lot of those.
What's a 3-run homer?
Exactly. Let's tell you about Omar Sanchez at Edge Home Finance, our brand new partner here on the Wrap-Up Show. Great to have Omar with us here this summer. He's the newest sponsor of the Wrap-Up Show. He's here to help all Padres fans with their mortgages. You can text Omar right now, literally, at 10 o'clock at night on this Tuesday evening. You can also scan that QR code to get to his website. The phone number, as you see, 619-387-7798. He's your San Diego native mortgage broker. And if you're looking to buy your dream home, Omar can help. If you're looking to refinance to consolidate your debt, Omar can also help. He's a San Diegan that is a massive Padres fan that went to San Diego State, that lives in our community, and you can support Omar and this channel by getting in contact with him for your mortgage needs. If you're in the process of buying or refinancing and would like a second opinion to make sure you're getting the best deal possible, call or text Omar for a free, absolutely free consultation. And if you're a realtor, Omar is looking for local partners as well. If you're a Padres fan that supports this channel, that wants to support a local business, please get in contact with Omar Sanchez at Edge Home Finance.
619-387-7798. You can text him literally whenever you want. Omar will get back to you for any loan or mortgage needs. He is your guy, local San Diegan. You see that barcode or the QR code, top of the screen there. Just scan that. It will take you to his website, edgehomefinance.com. Again, 619-387-7798. Omar is your guy.
Omar, thank you again for your support of this channel. Again, John and Jim with you on the Wrap-Up Show. If you're just making your way in, Padres lose 5-3. All we ask of Padres fans is you subscribe if you want to make sure we get your comment here tonight. If you want to support this channel, you can hit that super button by clicking the $ down below. If you want to become a member of this channel and get some custom emojis like LFGSD emojis, custom badges as well, and members-only content, you can become a member by clicking the join button next to subscribe down below. Again, the Padres lose it 5-3. If there's any good news here, Will Myers, I saw Talking Friars had it earlier. We put it on screen. Will Myers began a rehab assignment today. He may be returning sooner rather than later. Had 2 hits in Lake Elsinore tonight for the Storm.
The thing about Will, though, is like, if he's not healthy, he does not perform. Like, if there's one little thing wrong with Will, he can't. So hopefully that knee's okay. Hopefully that thumb's okay. Because if it's not, like, what can you really expect from him when he gets back?
I have very low expectations, to be honest, even if he's healthy. And I hope I'm wrong. You know, maybe he puts together 4 or 5 weeks. We've seen that. He definitely is capable of that.
John, the hashtag of this Padres season is hope. Right?
Or what is it? Like, they got what they got, so this is what it is.
It is what it is. They got what they got. Hashtag hope.
I am really glad that JD's third came in with the super right now. And thank you for the super, because this is a really interesting discussion. Now, I disagree, JD, with this sentiment. He says Bomel is average at best. He's not in control. What top team would let Ruiz happen after Voit fiasco? Can't happen. He makes many questionable moves. So what JD is basically saying is that there's got to be something coming from the dugout, Jim, to halt all running after you've already made it out in that inning. So once you're in that circumstance, first and second, 2 outs, you need to halt running. Like, even if a guy has a green light, all of a sudden now the third base coach needs to say, no, I'm overruling it. There's no movement on the bases, regardless of circumstance, other than walks and base hits or whatever. Now, here's the thing. I would say I'm going to put it more on the players. Not to say Bob Melvin maybe didn't have a perfect night. Maybe there's some accountability with the coaching staff here. Maybe you need to talk to Ruiz prior to this game and be like, yo, listen, it's game 1. You're going to have green lights, but go through me on game 1. It's your big league debut. You got a lot going on. I'm just going to say this. Voit, in that circumstance, that's his bad decision. Jim, there's a ball hit to left. He just decides to go. He
decides to tag up. Exactly. Yeah.
It's all on him in the circumstances. Nobody knew that was what was going to happen. A ball was going to be hit to left. Nobody knew that. And then Ruiz just ran. I bet he thought he had third base stolen. He's going to run.
Or do you think that he just got a sign mixed up? Because it's possible. Like, no way. Okay.
The reason I say no, I don't mean no way like you're not right. I mean no way like he isn't looking to run based on signs, in my opinion, in that spot. He's looking to run because he's run 70 times this year. He was 60 for 69, and he sees it as a free base, is my guess. He thinks he's got a large lead, or he can get a jump, or he's got a read on the catcher, and he can just take it. He's going because he thinks he can take it, and he was sorely mistaken. That's my guess. Now, could it be some type of mix-up there? I guess it could. It's his big league debut. But even if it is a mix-up, you need to ask yourself, why is he giving me the steal sign with 2 outs in the 8th inning and the winning run at the plate? Like, you almost need to overrule there.
I don't know. Honestly, I don't know. There's no explanation for it. Like, you can't give me one explanation that makes any sense as to why he did it and what is the advantage of.
I'm with you. Let's get to one more super. Jim's going to roll. I'm going to hang out with you guys for another 20 minutes. Let's get to this super. We'll continue with you here for the next 20 minutes or so. This super here from Alex. Thank you, Alex, as always. Okay, so
Thanks, Alex.
Joe gets blown up tomorrow, is it panic time?
Dude, it's not panic time. It's just like very concerned time, right? Because you're still 2.5 months left in the year, plus the trade deadline, plus Tatis gets back. I mean, you got at some, like, you have to keep at least some type of optimism, right? It's not full on panic DEFCON 1. It's just, I'm very concerned, and this is not fun. That's where I'm at. Like,
I'm
very concerned.
I'm concerned too. I am concerned because it just feels like it's very inconsistent. It's an imperfect roster. They're waiting on way too much. Oh, the bullpen's going to get healthy. Oh, Tatis is going to get healthy, you know?
And this is exactly the stuff what happened last year. Is like, hey, if the pitching just comes around, like, just waiting and hoping for things to happen. And they never did. And that's what you're kind of dealing with this year again, is you're just waiting and hoping for things to happen, like when Tatis gets back, like the trade deadline. Like, we're just waiting and hoping for this. And that's going to make things better. Well, if it doesn't work out, then what's plan B after the hoping for that to happen? You know? And that's the part where it feels like last year, is that you're constantly waiting and hoping for something. And if that doesn't work out, well, then you're screwed.
Stick around for 30 seconds while I go get a second beer, and then you can roll.
You're going to drink more beer?
Yeah, I had the mango cart, and now I have like a guava cart or something. I've got 3 different carts.
Of course, you have a mango and a guava beer.
Yeah, stand by.
So John's getting drunk tonight, which is completely out of the ordinary. This game pissed off John so much that he decided he was going to get drunk. And I'm the one that everyone gets mad at. Yeah, exactly. Dude. It would be funny to see a drunk John. Honestly. I am too. John, bro. You're getting called out in the chat. Definitely people they're offended by your beer choice. And that also that you're sipping beer.
Well, first of all, I want to say Eric is Eric, correct me on the terminology. Aren't you like a beer master?
I think so. So he thinks you're a loser.
Yeah, I am. I mean, I agree with that.
Yeah. Trevor says, improve your beer selections, John.
Dude, first of all, my neighbor literally dropped 3 off at my garage. Otherwise, I wouldn't have beer here. So we've had Mango Cart, which, by the way, I do recommend. I think it's a good drink.
Give this man a real beer. Fruit in beer is the most John thing ever.
This I've never had. Melon carts? I mean, what are we doing?
What are you doing?
Okay, so Eric is a head brewer. Thanks for hanging out, Eric. Melon carts.
Jim has more walls now. Yeah, I do.
Yeah, Jim. We have no idea where Jim is. All right, Jim, you can roll.
All right. This was a disaster.
I got to change the side walls or whatever here.
What do you mean side walls?
I don't know.
Yeah. You're drunk. What's wrong with you?
I've had like a mango cart.
There you go. Are you happy?
All right, go enjoy date night.
I don't.
Bye-bye. All right, guys, Jim's gone. So I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. Again, John with you here on the wrap-up show. Please subscribe if you're a Padres fan. Smash the like button for us if you wouldn't mind. Make sure to follow us on Twitter at John Schaefer, at Jim Russell SD. If you want to make sure I get your comment now that Jim is gone, I'm trying to do everything at once. You can use that super. I'll see those by clicking that $sign down below. If you want to become a member to support this channel as well, you can do that by clicking the join button down below. Yeah, Eric, that's right. Black Plague in Oceanside, which I've had before and is very good. I picked that up. Forget where I picked that up. Maybe it was a Whole Foods. Is that possible, Eric? I may have picked it up at a Whole Foods at some point in the last couple of months. So, yeah. So support Eric, support Black Plague in Oceanside. In terms of this loss, I mean, I think it's summarized. There's a lot more than just this, but I'm summarizing it with Grisham's play, Voit and Ruiz's decisions in that 8th inning. Not to say that if those all go right, you win the game. There's no guarantee of that. I'm not saying that they necessarily win the game or they lost because of what happened in those instances. But, at the major league level, you got to be cleaner. And they were clean. That first month of the season, they were playing really crisp baseball. And that's not happening right now. They're just not playing crisp baseball. Ruiz is going to have a lot more days in front of him. He's going to have a lot more opportunities. He'll be absolutely fine. But you can't give away games in the big leagues. Not the way this team is playing right now. That's how I see it. Alex, thank you again for this super. Thank you guys for hanging out with us. Again, if you want to weigh in with the super and get your comment on and make sure that I interact with it, you can hit that $ down below. So Alex says, my dad's a casual Padres fan and done with Grisham. I mean, whether you're a casual Padres fan or you're a hardcore Padres fan or you don't even watch the Padres, it's hard to imagine that Grisham has much longer of a leash right now because it's just not working, whether it's his inability to hit or hit for average, his inability to move men over or hit situationally. And now the defense has been just perplexing, just unbelievable to go from Gold Glove caliber to this. Now, he did make a very good play late in this game in the left center field gap where he went up against the wall. He had to go a long way. I have no idea how far he went, at least 100 feet. He went at least 30 yards to make that play. So we know he's capable. That's what's frustrating. He's capable of making some excellent defensive plays. That's why he's man center field as often as he's man center field for the Padres. But there are not center fielders in the big leagues making the miscues that he's making right now. That's just not possible, especially with his service time. He hasn't been up for 10 days. He's been up for 3-4 years at this point. So what are the options? I mean, you could obviously hurt his confidence by sending him down, but it's not about that. I mean, they're in the position where they need to find ways to win. I don't know if they have enough in their outfield where they can send him down because Ruiz is obviously just a pup, at least at the big league level. Profar's hurt because of the concussion. Rooker just went down. Myers isn't here. They just don't have a lot of outfield. They just don't have a lot of outfielders. And it's like if you were a better team, he'd probably be in AAA. But with this outfield, it's almost like they need him, which is hard to say. I mean, I don't know how you need a player that's hurting you. But right now, Trent Grisham is hurting this team. And it's tough. I'm not saying that it's time to give up on him forever, but in the short term, Ruiz needs to get the lion's share of opportunity. Maybe Grisham needs to get some additional seasoning in AAA, gain some confidence, hit in the PCL, which is obviously a much better hitters league than the major leagues. I don't know what they're going to do. I really do not know what they're going to do. My guess is AJ Preller is going to try to address it at the deadline and improve his outfield in some form or fashion at the deadline. I don't know if he's going to be able to do it or not. So thank you, Alex, again for that super. I see this from, is it Chew or Chewy? Chewy, thanks for commenting in the chat here tonight. He says, Bo Mel needs to be accountable at this point. Well, Melvin actually did take accountability tonight after the game and said, the responsibility is on me. And he said that, he did not give the signal from the bench for the steal there to end the 8th inning, but he said, ultimately, it's my responsibility. And he did take responsibility. That's something we never heard. Maybe we heard it very rarely from Jace Tingler. I literally do not recall him taking accountability at any point during his 2 years as manager. And Bob Melvin has done that a couple of times here during this slide where the Padres have not played as well over the last month of the season. I don't really put this play on Bob Melvin. I put it more on the players in the front office than I would on Melvin, and let me explain. So obviously Melvin isn't in charge of his roster. That's AJ Preller's responsibility. Obviously, AJ Preller isn't responsible for injuries, nor is Bob Melvin. But Preller knew this team, especially offensively, lacked depth, and that's become abundantly clear over the course of the year where you lose someone like Hassan Kim and you're behind the 8 ball and you can't score, or you lose someone like Jurickson Profar, who's had a nice year, but he's not this all-world player. He's not all-star caliber. He hasn't been one of the top producing outfielders in baseball offensively. He's been solid for this team. But you lose a player like Profar Kim and you don't have a replacement level player available to you. Now we'll see. Maybe Ruiz is that guy. We'll see. But it's like this to me, the way this team is playing right now, blown late leads, bullpen inconsistencies, lack of offense, lack of slug, that to me isn't really a manager issue. That to me is a roster issue. Who's responsible for the roster? Not Bob Melvin. If this team ultimately doesn't win, maybe they're just not a good team. But if this team ultimately doesn't win, is it Bob Melvin's fault that they don't win? I mean, who do you put this on? You put this more on Melvin or you put this more on Preller? Comment in the chat. Melvin or Preller. To me, it's not close. Not to say Melvin's been perfect, and he said tonight he's not perfect. And I'm not just going to defend him to the nth degree. I've had some moments this year where I've been critical. I thought he had a poorly managed game within the last couple of weeks. I forget the game, the 6-0 game, when they led 6-0 in Arizona and lost 7-6. That was a poorly managed game. Good managers have bad days. I didn't think today was a poorly managed game. I thought it was a poorly played game. Ultimately, the buck stops with him. But, I mean, he'd be like 15th on my list of reasons why they lost this game here tonight, if even that high, to be honest with you. Let's see. What else do I have here in my notes? We talked about Tatis, obviously. Here, listen, if you want some positives with Ruiz, Ruiz had a couple of nice pieces of hitting in this game. That single up the box for his first big league hit in his first plate appearance. That's easier said than done, obviously, to get the monkey off your back in that spot. And then he had a big hit in the 8th inning, trailing 5-1 or 5-2, and he goes the other way. Like, that was a big at bat and a good job by Ruiz to get on base. So there's a lot to like with Esteury Ruiz after one day. And there was just that one poor play in my mind. And that happens with rookies and that happens with veteran players. But that was just a very bad time to have a moment like that occur. And it could have been ultimately the difference for this team between winning and losing. So let's see. I see some comments coming in here on whether you blame Melvin or Preller for the way this team is playing right now. Like Rich, our buddy, says he blames Preller. Yeah, Gus says, like, even if AJ goes over the CBT, is he even going to bring in the right players at the trade deadline? He certainly didn't do that last year with Frazier and Marisnik and Hudson. That didn't work out. Even 2020 didn't really work out either. Lizzie, good point. Think about that. They literally got to spring training not knowing that Fernando Tatis Jr. was unavailable. He reported and said, I've got wrist pain. And they did either the X-ray or the MRI, and they realized he had a fracture. So they felt as if they were heading into this year with an MVP caliber player in their lineup that has not appeared and will not appear until the very earliest, the very end of July or the very beginning of August, with about 60 games to play in the season. That's a loss. That's a significant loss for Bob Melvin and this team. Sam says Melvin has made some mistakes, but Preller needs to go. Eddie saying that this is Preller's mess. I think most people agree. I think most people say that this is more on Preller than it is on anyone else. Is there any chance, Ashley, that the Padres move Hosmer? Yes. Is it likely? I don't know if it's likely or not. I think that the fact that they have not been able to move him over the offseason between this season and, this past offseason, last year at the trade deadline, maybe even prior to that, the offseason before that, leads you to believe that it's not going to be easy to move him. Can he be moved? I'm sure he can be moved. Is it going to be easy? I don't know. And I don't know if they're going to be able to do it. If they do move him, I think there's a good chance they're upgrading at first base. And if they can acquire a player like Josh Bell, that's a significant change from Hosmer, who lacks slug, to Josh Bell, who's had something like a 900 OPS a year, maybe a little better than that for the Nats. So I don't know. If they can move him, that's a big win for AJ Preller. I just don't know what team is going to take on Eric Hosmer. And even if a team does take on Eric Hosmer, the Padres presumably are going to have to eat most, if not all, of that contract. So Alex says it's on Preller, but Melvin will be the scapegoat. Here's the thing, Alex. Melvin's not going anywhere if this team doesn't win this year. And I don't know if Preller is either. Hold on, I got to turn around my hat. Melvin's not going anywhere. They've got one of the top managers in the game. He might not be the best manager in the game. I haven't done enough of the deep dive to see who's managing right now in the big leagues and where he compares, but he's among the better managers in the game. He signed that 3-year deal. He goes nowhere. He'll be given the 3 years. Even if the wheels fell off this year, he's absolutely returning in 2023, or he'll have the opportunity certainly to return in 2023. And shoot, a lot of people that cover this team for a living that do the beat reporting around town believe that AJ Preller's job is not in any serious jeopardy in 2022 as he's under contract through 2026. So I would look at it this way, that neither Preller nor Melvin go anywhere, even if this team underperforms in the second half of 2022. Rich saying that Melvin had the quick hook with Clevenger, which was a good move. Yeah, it's hard to go to your bullpen before when they did. I mean, how many pitches had he thrown through 5 innings? He had gone 5 innings, 1 run. I don't think that's a good reason to go to your bullpen in a 1-1 game. It's like you got to give him that 6th inning, and Charlie Blackmon got him in that 6th inning. All right, so JD says, we seem to give Bomel tons of passes. If team was winning, he'd get all the credit. John, listen, that's fair. That's fair. That is fair. I definitely give him more passes than I give Jace Tingler. I think he's probably earned that for his time as big league manager, whether it's in Oakland or Seattle or Arizona. And he's won a lot more games and had a lot more winning seasons, obviously, than Jace Tingler. But it's not for me about giving the manager free passes. It's about recognizing the fact that there is some circumstances at play, whether it's the front office with this roster or whether it's the players just not performing. And that's not Melvin's fault, and that's not Tingler's fault, and that's not Andy Green's fault. That can't be every manager's fault that players underperform. We can't blame every manager for lack of performance from these players. At some point, the players need to take some level of accountability. Players can't be fired. They're under contract. Who signs these players? We know the answer. Brisk blames Jace. I'm going to continue going through some of these comments. Again, if you want to make sure I get your comment, you can use that super by clicking that $ down below. As you guys continue to comment and chat here on the wrap-up show tonight, I do want to remind you about Ora, ORA.organic, one of our partners here on the wrap-up show. They've been with us for the better part of the entirety of the wrap-up show. Their co-founder, Will, we were just with him last week. Great guy, huge Padres fan. San Diegan, has offices in Liberty Station. This company is a great company. You click this Take the Quiz button. You're getting 30% off your very first order. All of their products are entirely plant-based. I'm talking about their probiotics, which I take every single day for digestion and heart health and mental clarity, which I need doing this show every single night. Whether it's proteins, which you can take after workouts, or pre-workout supplements. They have omega-3 oils. If you take fish oils, they have omega-3 oils for you. They have immunity pills. They have sleep supplements. They literally have something for everyone. There's a link down below. It's ORA.organic. Very easy to get to the site. You can browse their site while you watch the wrap-up show. You can shop, learn all about the products. But again, their co-founder's a huge Padres fan. Like we always say with all of our partners, if you want to support local businesses that support this channel, please support Ora, ORA.organic. There's a link down below. And again, click that Take the Quiz button. You'll get 30% off your very first order. All right, John Schaefer with you here on the wrap-up show. Jim has bailed. If you're here live or on replay, all we ask is that you do subscribe and smash that like button for us. Let me see what else is going on here in the chat. No doubt. That was a terrible, terrible 8th inning. Yeah, I'm with you, AC Diamonds. Yeah, managers make mistakes. Managers can be second-guessed. Roster construction has nothing to do with the manager. You know, Renee says both. I think there's a level of fairness in there. Phil says everyone is so reactionary. You know, Phil, I agree. I mean, this team's 50-39, and most teams in baseball would trade records with the Padres, right? I mean, 70% of the teams in baseball would trade records right now with the Padres. The reason I don't think this is a reactionary night is because this has been going on for weeks. They're 6-12 in their last 18 games. I want to say they're 9-15 in their last 23. That's poor play. I mean, that's not 500 play. That's poor play. So, yeah, maybe it's reactionary if, you know, they're 6-5 over 11 and they've lost consecutive games. They were 6-3, but they've lost. But that's not what's happening right now. What's happening is that they're taking out some water in the wild card standings. They've basically given up any chance of winning the division, you would think. They're 7.5 games out. Not impossible, but the way they're playing, it's going to take quite the second half. But I don't know if tonight is about being reactionary, but you know, maybe it is. Maybe it is. Jeremiah blames Preller. YouTube blames Preller. AJ the Myth Preller. There's this, you know, this is a knock on Preller, the regression knock with the team. there's this, Preller's signings and trades to put this team right up against the CBT. And this CBT number is not only about, well, does Peter Seidler have the money? We talked about this yesterday. It's not just about Peter Seidler having the money or not having the money. It's about going over the CBT and then costing yourself draft picks moving forward in 2023. Because if the Padres go over the CBT at the end of this year, they will lose 2 high picks next year in the draft. Their second pick and their 6th pick. I believe I have that right. Either their 2nd and their 5th or their 2nd and their 6th. So there are reasons not to go over the CBT. Now, there's also reasons to go over if you're going to blow over it, like the Dodgers, who are going to go over by $50 or $100 million. So they're not concerned about the picks. They'd rather make the acquisitions and the trades and the signings and continue to win. And they've won at a very high clip, a clip better than the Padres. Turbo says it is AJ's mess. This is, I would say no. I don't know anything about Josh Stein, but I would say no. Typically, when a GM goes, most of the regime falls as well. Not a guarantee that happens, but I would think you'd bring in a general manager or president of baseball operations from on the outside. That would be my guess. But again, if I was a betting man, I don't think that Preller's going anywhere at the end of this year. A couple of more comments here. Lizzie saying Hosmer's not getting moved because of his connection to Manny. They are a package deal. That's a whole nother conversation. We've had that conversation before. I think Manny respects and appreciates Hosmer. I don't know if at the end of the day, if AJ Preller had a chance to make the move, if he wouldn't because of Manny Machado. I think ultimately, if he can free up some capital and improve his baseball team, I think Manny will understand at the end of the day. But I do understand that sentiment. I've heard it previously from others before. Like Rich saying, he blames the players for not living up to their potential. Downturns from Grisham and Cronenworth. That Cronenworth again yesterday had a huge game. He really did. A couple of more comments here before we roll out on this Tuesday night. Tough night if you're a Padres fan. Really tough night if you're a Padres fan. Not to say that this thing was in the bag. It really wasn't. They weren't scoring, and they had that 8th inning where they rallied, but they ran themselves out of that rally. It's just like, man, you had chances to win this game late, and you didn't cash in, not because of anything the Rockies did, but because of self-inflicted wounds. And that's what hurts tonight if you are a Padres fan. Let's see. What else is going on here in this chat? Stop to try. I think I will for a second. Hold on. This is still my mango cart. See, it's hard to drink when you're doing a solo show. It's even hard to drink when you're doing a 2-man show because you're like trying to do a show. So yeah, thank you. Probably needed that. What else? Is there anything else that I missed on? If you want to comment down below, I'll try to get to 2 or 3 comments before we get out of here. Is there anything else that's pressing? They need Joe Musgrove to pitch well tomorrow. And offensively, they need to look more like yesterday than they look today. And they don't have to score 10 runs, but 5 would help. 5 would definitely help. Quan, cheers to you as well. Yeah, I could use some whiskey tonight. Marco, very cool. A lot of Padres fans at Coors Field tonight. Good to know that you were there tonight. Very cool. So Jaime blames Tatis. We can blame Tatis, but fact of the matter is, the train doesn't stop. He's going to miss 100 games this year, whatever it is, and they got to find a way to overcome that. But yeah, I think there's a lot of blame to go around for Fernando Tatis Jr. based on his decision in the offseason. Renee, have a good one. Josh Stein's been here for forever. Yep, high payroll. Offense has been anemic. Myers, we talked about this earlier, 2 for 4 here today, working his way back, hopefully back sooner rather than later. I don't know if I'm going to do this, Gus. I think we'll have Jim tomorrow, by the way, because I got to pick up my mom from the airport here in San Diego. She's flying in. So hopefully Jim isn't on another date tomorrow, and hopefully Jim will be here with you tomorrow night. And then there's the curse. Yeah, do we blame the curse? I don't think it's as simple as that. I really don't. Yes, I agree. Very soft. All right, guys, thanks for hanging out tonight. As always, please subscribe. That's all we ask. If you're a Padres fan, to subscribe to this channel. You can hit that notification bell. You'll be notified when we have new videos or we go live. Smash the like button for us and follow us on Twitter at John Schaefer, at Jim Russell SD. Thank you guys again. Thank you for your support of our sponsors. Again, if you have any needs, please go to Mark Nimitz. Please go to Farmers Insurance, Mark Nimitz at Farmers Insurance. Again, ORA Organic as well, and our buddy Omar Sanchez at Edge Home Finance as well. We had the wrong background up here. My apologies. But Mark Nimitz, again, if you have auto, home, renters, or life insurance needs, please go with Mark. There's a link down below. He can save you $750 on your insurance. ORA.organic, 30% off your very first order. Click that Take the Quiz button down below. There's a link for Aura as well. And then Omar Sanchez, again, at Edge Home Finance. Scan that QR code. He can help you with your mortgage needs. He can get you into your dream home. He can help you if you're refinancing. If you have any mortgage needs, any housing or home questions, please go with Omar Sanchez at Edge Home Finance. Yeah, I don't know, Eddie. I mean, I'm beginning to change my tune on that. But that's a fair point. Yes, good night, Starfighter. Thank you guys for hanging out. Thank you. Go Pods, like our buddy Fat Sal likes to say. Maybe Coach will be the next GM. Maybe. Rich, they could use one. Get that split at the very least. Thanks, guys. We'll be back tomorrow night. Appreciate it. We'll see you on the radio tomorrow at 3 p.m. Have a good one.